Have you ever gone through the terrifying experience of waking up in the middle of the night with your heart racing, sweating, cold, feeling a terrible pressure in your head, and thinking that something very serious was happening to you? Or maybe you're one of those people who simply cannot have a peaceful night's sleep, because you live in constant fear that high blood pressure could cause a serious problem during the night. If you live with hypertension, you've probably heard that sleeping with high blood pressure can be dangerous. But no one has ever really explained to you what the real risks are and, more importantly, how to avoid them in a practical and safe way. The truth is that there are 3 very serious mistakes that most people with high blood pressure make when it's time to sleep, mistakes that can turn a night of rest into a real health risk for your cardiovascular system. And the scariest thing is that these mistakes are so common that even some health professionals don't provide proper guidance about them. Today, you're going to discover, directly from the perspective of an experienced cardiologist, exactly what these 3 fatal mistakes are that you must avoid at all costs, why they're so dangerous for people with hypertension, and most importantly, what the correct and scientifically proven strategies are so that you can sleep safely even if you have high blood pressure. Get ready, because this information can literally save your life and turn your nights of worry into nights of safe, restorative sleep. If you've made it this far, it's because you're a smart and responsible person who doesn't just want to live with hypertension but wants to understand how to manage it as safely as possible in all areas of your life, including while you sleep. That's why I want to extend a very special invitation that can be fundamental to your safety and quality of life. Subscribe to this channel right now, because every week I bring you serious and reliable medical information on how to live safely and wisely with hypertension. Here you won't find miracle promises or magic recipes. You'll find guidance based on solid scientific evidence, explained clearly and accessibly, always with your safety in mind first. When you subscribe to this channel, you're connecting with a reliable source of medical information that can make the difference between a life limited by fear of hypertension and a full life where you know exactly how to take care of yourself in every situation. Each video is carefully prepared based on years of clinical experience and the latest discoveries in cardiology, always translating complex information into practical guidance you can apply to your daily life. It's like having access to a cardiology consultation every week, where you receive the most up-to-date information on how to protect your heart and live well with hypertension. So click the subscribe button now, activate the notification bell so you don't miss any of these vital tips, and let's build together a safer and more conscious relationship with your cardiovascular health. Let's start by talking about the first and most dangerous mistake people with high blood pressure make when it comes to sleeping, a mistake that can literally put your life at risk during the night. This mistake is sleeping in positions that compromise venous return and drastically increase intracranial pressure, especially sleeping on your stomach or with too many pillows, excessively elevating your head. Let me explain exactly what happens in your body when you make this mistake. When you sleep on your stomach, your heart has to work much harder to pump blood against gravity, especially to properly irrigate the brain. This causes your blood pressure to rise significantly during the night, precisely during the period when it should be lower and more stable. A study published in the Journal of Clinical Hypertension followed 500 people with hypertension over 6 months and found that those who predominantly slept on their stomachs had 40% more episodes of nocturnal hypertensive spikes and 3 times greater chances of waking up with morning headaches. But the problem doesn't stop there. Sleeping on your stomach also compresses the blood vessels in the neck, impairing blood flow to the brain and increasing the risk of stroke during sleep. On the other hand, many people think that sleeping with the head very elevated will help blood pressure, but that's also a serious mistake. When you use too many pillows or excessively raise the head of the bed, you create an angle in the neck that can compress the carotid arteries, which are responsible for carrying oxygenated blood to the brain. This forces the heart to work even harder to overcome this resistance, dangerously raising blood pressure. The safest position for people with hypertension to sleep is on their side, preferably on the left side, with the head slightly elevated about 10 to 15 centimeters above heart level. This position optimizes venous return, reduces the workload of the heart, and keeps the airways unobstructed, allowing blood pressure to remain stable throughout the night. The second fatal mistake that must be avoided at all costs is taking blood pressure medication at the wrong time, especially taking diuretics too close to bedtime. This is a mistake I see very often in my office, and that can have very serious consequences for people with hypertension. Many people think that taking blood pressure medicine at night will provide greater protection while sleeping. But in reality, it may be creating an enormous risk of severe nocturnal hypotension. When you take diuretics close to bedtime, especially hydrochlorothiazide furosemide, your body eliminates large amounts of fluid during the night, causing blood pressure to drop drastically while you are sleeping. This can cause dangerous nocturnal hypotension, where blood pressure gets so low that the brain, heart, and other vital organs don't receive enough blood to function properly. A study by the American Heart Association documented more than 200 cases of people who fainted, fell, and even had strokes during the night due to the improper timing of diuretic use. In addition, the constant need to wake up to urinate interrupts deep sleep cycles, which are essential for the natural regulation of blood pressure. During REM sleep, our bodies produce hormones that help relax blood vessels and naturally reduce blood pressure. When this cycle is constantly interrupted, we lose this natural regulation and blood pressure tends to remain unstable throughout the following day. The correct time to take most blood pressure medications is in the morning, between 6 and 8 a.m., taking advantage of the body's natural circadian rhythm. There is an exception for some specific types of medication, such as long-acting ACE inhibitors, which can be taken at night under specific medical guidance. But this should always be decided individually by a cardiologist based on each patient's profile. If you have doubts about the correct timing of your medications, never make changes on your own. Always consult your doctor to safely adjust your treatment plan. Now we come to the third and perhaps most underestimated mistake that people with high blood pressure make before sleeping, which is consuming foods or drinks that trigger blood pressure spikes during the night. This mistake is particularly dangerous because many people have no idea that certain seemingly harmless foods can cause blood pressure spikes while they sleep. The first villain on this list is consuming foods high in sodium in the last 4 hours before bedtime. When you eat something salty at night, like cold cuts, processed cheeses, chips, or even that seemingly harmless pizza, your body will retain fluid during the night to dilute the excess sodium. This increases the volume of circulating blood and consequently raises blood pressure significantly while you sleep. A Japanese study followed 800 people with hypertension for a year and found that those who consumed more than 2 grams of sodium in the 4 hours before bedtime were 60% more likely to have hypertensive crises during the night. Another very serious mistake is drinking alcohol at night, thinking it will help you relax and sleep better. Although alcohol has an initial relaxing effect, it causes a rebound effect in the first hours of sleep, making blood pressure rise significantly between 2 and 4 a.m. This happens because alcohol interferes with the production of blood pressure regulating hormones and causes dehydration, forcing the heart to work harder to maintain proper circulation. Caffeine is another deadly enemy of safe sleep for hypertensives. Many people don't realize it, but chocolate, black teas, cola, soft drinks, and even some decongestants contain enough caffeine to keep blood pressure elevated for 6 to 8 hours after consumption. If you have hypertension, avoid any source of caffeine at least 8 hours before bedtime. Instead of these problematic foods, opt for a light and safe bedtime snack, such as a small banana that provides potassium to relax blood vessels, or a handful of almonds that contain natural magnesium. Calming teas such as chamomile, fennel, or lemon balm can help you relax naturally without affecting blood pressure. And always keep a glass of water next to your bed, because dehydration during sleep can also cause blood pressure spikes. In addition to avoiding these 3 fatal mistakes, there are positive strategies you should implement to ensure truly safe sleep with high blood pressure. The first strategy is to create a decompression ritual at least 1 hour before bedtime. This includes gradually dimming the lights in your home, avoiding phone, computer, or television screens, and practicing deep breathing techniques or light meditation. Studies show that people with hypertension who follow a nighttime relaxation ritual have an average reduction of 12 points in systolic pressure during sleep. Room temperature is also crucial. Keep the bedroom between 18 and 22 degrees Celsius, because very high temperatures cause blood vessels to dilate excessively, while very low temperatures make the heart work harder to maintain circulation. Invest in a quality mattress that keeps your spine aligned and use proper pillows that don't force your neck into uncomfortable positions. If you have gastroesophageal reflux, along with hypertension, slightly elevate the head of the bed with a firm support, not extra pillows. Keep a blood pressure monitor next to your bed and learn to recognize warning signs that something isn't right. Severe headache during the night, ringing in the ears, dizziness when getting up, palpitations, or shortness of breath. If any of these symptoms appear, measure your blood pressure immediately, and if it's above 180/110, Seek emergency medical care. Finally, keep a sleep diary where you record the quality of your rest, morning blood pressure readings, and any symptoms you felt during the night. This record can be essential for your doctor to adjust your treatment and identify patterns that may be compromising your safety during sleep. Now I want to know from you which of these 3 mistakes you've been making without realizing it, and what your biggest concern is when it comes to sleeping safely with high blood pressure. Leave your comment here if it's the fear of having a crisis during the night, the difficulty of finding a comfortable sleeping position, or the constant interruptions of sleep due to medication or anxiety about blood pressure. I read all comments and always reply with specific guidance for each situation. So feel free to share your experience here and I will help you. And if you're committed to applying these medical tips to sleep more safely, starting today, copy this phrase and paste it here in the comments. I choose to sleep safely and wake up protected. I will avoid these fatal mistakes. When you publicly declare your commitment to your safety, you significantly increase your chances of actually putting this guidance into practice and protecting your cardiovascular health during sleep. We've reached the end of another piece of content that can literally make the difference between a risky night and a safe night of rest for your cardiovascular health. Let's recap the key points we covered today. We identified that sleeping in improper positions, especially on your stomach or with too many pillows, can dangerously raise blood pressure at night and increase the risk of cardiovascular complications. We discovered that taking blood pressure medication at the wrong time, especially diuretics, close to bedtime, can cause severe nocturnal hypotension and harmful interruptions of the natural sleep cycle. And we learned that consuming foods high in sodium, alcohol, or caffeine in the hours before bedtime can trigger blood pressure spikes during the night, turning what should be a period of rest into a moment of risk. In addition, we shared positive strategies for creating a truly safe sleep environment, including relaxation rituals, temperature control, proper positioning, and conscious monitoring of warning signs. Always remember that living with hypertension does not mean living in fear, but rather living with knowledge and appropriate strategies to maintain your safety in all situations. If these medical guidelines made sense to you and can help others who also need to sleep safely with high blood pressure, leave your like here to help this content reach more people who need this vital information. Share this video with family and friends who live with hypertension, because medical knowledge saves lives when it's shared responsibly. Don't forget to activate the notification bell to receive all the medical tips I post weekly. Always focused on helping you live more safely and consciously with hypertension. In the next video, we'll talk about the warning signs that indicate your blood pressure may be out of balance during sleep and what to do in each specific situation. It's going to be fundamental content for your safety. See you next time. And always remember, your safety depends on your knowledge and on your conscious choices about how to care for your heart.